So what I want to talk about is this idea of small scope, like we talked about, but big ideas. Right? You don't have to settle for a cheap campaign. I mean, you can.
I mean, I'm going to need this campaign done by 5 p.m. today.
You don't have to, right? Because you might be saying, oh, I just want to have some adventurers go and just kill some wolves and then go back to town. That's my adventure. And while it is fun,
welcome to the Hounds of
and I don't want to call it cheap, and that's what you like, you can have it, fine. Right? But you don't have to settle for just that. Just because you're new at this and you don't feel like you can do more. Right? You don't have to have more content per se. You can add bigger ideas per se, because they're wolves.
Because they're wolves. Oh, okay. Not furries.
If that's your thing, I'm not gonna judge publicly.
You're not safe from judgment anyway, but we're still your friends.
Yeah. I'm not gonna say that. Self-censoring right here. So you don't have to settle for a cheap, shallow campaign just because of your idea for what you want your party to do is simple. Right? You can have big ideas in there. So what does that mean, right? How do you put a big idea into something so simple as just going off and hunting some wolves in the forest for a one shot? Right? What you want to do is flesh out your theme before you even start building actual things in your campaign. Before you're like, oh, I want wolves, I want a town, I want a forest. Think about the themes, right? There are a lot of reasons for doing this ahead of time. Okay? Because setting a theme before you even start off with any of the details of what things are in your campaign, it's sort of what the idea of what your campaign is all about, that nugget of that perfect bite, right? You want to have a clear theme that provides sort of this unifying thread that ties together all the elements of your world building.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
It sounds, like I said, complex, but a theme is actually really simple. It's not easy to do, but it's simple. Right?
What are your broad stroke examples of themes?
A theme could be something as simple as, or is it maybe called banal, but it's not, good versus evil.
Okay.
Right? Or the nature of bravery. Right? Very simple idea.
Common concepts as well, right?
But they're very deep. They're big ideas.
There's a lot to explore.
Right? So that's a quick and dirty example of themes, right? So themes add meaning to your writing and they add depth to it. It's like, why are we hunting wolves? Right? What are we trying to explore here? Right? Themes give your story a sense of purpose, sort of beyond that surface level events. Like I said, it's not just hunting wolves anymore.
Right.
Players can then connect with your campaign at a deeper level.
Okay.
Right? And potentially derive maybe personal insights or interpretations from sort of the meaning of your campaign.
Right.
It also, as a DM, guides your choices during your world building process. You're like, oh, what should I have in my campaign? Well, your theme will sort of inform those decisions for you. It can be your guide, so you're no longer a guideless guide. Okay? Having a clear theme is this sort of guiding principle, sort of to help you make sure that your decisions that you're making for your world building are in line and the overall message that that's giving is the same one. So it's not like sort of grabastic and doesn't make sense together. Right? So theme, right? That's great, but how do you do it? Right? Sean, you're saying it's so complex. How do you do it?
How do you do it, Sean?
Right? It helps to know what you want on the campaign.
Oh, that's what I said.
You did. But it also helps to know what your players are interested in. Right? Because you want your players to be also interested in the theme that you are doing, that your campaign is going to have. You don't have a campaign at this point, but if you have players, talk to them. Text or whatever, make a session -1. Is that a thing? Session -1, -2, whatever.
There's Godzilla -1, so you can have a session -1.
I guess so.
Yeah.
We'll see.
If he can do it.
Welcome to Godzilla -1, guys. What? But if you don't want to have something sort of formalized, like let's do a campaign -1, You do it informally, right? It's kind
Of course.
you might want to call it pre-production market research, so to speak.
Or
right?
hanging out with your friends.
What? You have those?
What? Yes.
So while you're doing that, you want to identify your campaign's main message or question that it's asking. And whether it's a one-shot or long year, 2-year, 5-year, 10-year long campaign, right?
Good luck.
Yeah. So when you're together, reflect on your ideas. What ideas and concepts inspire you or your players? What themes resonate with you personally? Or what message do you want to convey through your campaign? Right? The players can do the same thing through their players, but definitely because your campaign is kind of like the DM character, you want to do that. Okay? You want to come up with a bunch of ideas. And we talked about like maybe your themes could be redemption or identity, love and sacrifice, power, corruption, coming of age. What else?
I think you can go back to like
putting you on the spot there.
No, you can go back to those kind of, once again, broad aspects of like man versus world, world versus man. Sometimes is very different when you start approaching that. Large concepts that we kind of throw around, pride.
Oh, yeah.
Equality, prosper,
equity,
right? What it means to fight the big guy, what it means to fight for the little guy, what it means to secure the little guy. Like there's
what does it mean to be friends?
What does it mean to be free? Right? What is it? Right? Like there's so many, like look up any virtuous word.
Right.
And you could write 1,000 campaigns exploring those ideas. Right. And very simple versions of that, very complex versions of that.
Yeah.
Right. You can kind of go any which way you want. Explore emotions. What is anger? Or how is anger manifested in
the
woods? How is anger manifested in society, in nature, right? Whatever it is. So many things you can do. Especially in the fantasy sort of rubric.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and then gather all your ideas, write it down.
Oh, I love writing them down.
Ooh, or type it out. Voice memos, up to you.
Find your medium muse. Me is writing.
Oh, medium. Oh, like the medium in which you put down ideas.
Yeah, not like the big,
large, small, medium. It's a medium one.
However you process things. If that's digitally, right, is writing out.
Get the Venti muse, please.
I'll get a Venti muse. 2 shots of inspiration. Right. If for me, that's writing, and it doesn't matter. And I've discovered this, and thank goodness, but I can either handwrite or I can type out. Both of those work for me. And there's a plug. And once you pull the cork where you find that, then you or I just start creating.
Yes.
But it's that
makes it official.
It's that first action of popping the cork, and that's writing the first few words or getting the idea that you're working out, and it just spawns more and more and more.
Yeah, not just thinking. Now it's doing.
Now it's doing.
So get a list, write it down, put it out there in the world.
Check it twice.
Identify the core themes.
Gonna find out who's TPK.
That are in that list. Right? Once you do that, it's time to narrow down your focus to 1 or 2 core themes that you and your table want to explore in your stories, in your campaign.
Nice.
Right?
That's even more complicated.
It's
difficult. That gives you even more options when you take 2 of those buzzwords and you draw the Venn diagram and what.
It's not complicated. It's difficult.
It's difficult. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's also then unique.
Yeah. Right. Your core theme should be broad enough to provide depth and sort of resonance, but specific enough to guide your design decision. Right? You're like, I want to, I don't know, what's my core theme? Existence. But what about existence? Existence on its own is nothing, right?
Sure.
But the meaning of existence, or what is existence, is a little more specific. Right? So broad enough that you have lots to explore, but specific enough so you know what you're exploring. Okay. I like to take these themes and form them into questions.
Per se.
Right? This way, the players get to explore themes for what resonates with them. Because it's a question they can ask themselves now. Like, what do I think of that question? Well, what's the answer, right, for me?
Right.
And then this makes your campaign personally meaningful for each of your players.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So then it's a depth that we're talking about.
Correct.
So again, if the theme is love and sacrifice, maybe your question could be, is sacrifice necessary for love?
Mm-hmm.
Or something along those lines. Or does power corrupt? Instead of just power and corruption. What about it? Does power corrupt?
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a direction to go with this theme. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This takes a bit of work, this whole process, but I guarantee that it will make the rest of your campaign building smoother.
Oh, yes.
Just get over this initial hump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The results of your building will be richer. The players will care about it more. Money, cash. No, richer in ideas and value. Okay.
Make it rain.
Right?
Impact.
Once you have this, add some fun characters, locations,
right,
and counters to the mix, and you're golden.
Yeah.
So simple. So simple.
Yeah, it's like we don't even have to have a podcast about this where we break into all of these individual things because they're all so complex.
Right? That's out of the scope of what I want to talk about today.
Yes.
But
trim that fat.
Get your theme set.
Yes.
It's so important before you start any of the world building.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah.
It's actually kind of interesting because I feel like our roles are a little bit reversed in this moment. Because I'm talking about more creative things and you're talking about like check your work. Set your foundational stone so that the farther you get away from it, the more you can check and make sure that everything's in line. Right?
Well, I think true creativity requires restrictions. Let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, without some kind of restriction, you can't be truly creative. You're just playing around now.
That's like a whole episode unto itself.
Yeah.
I'm sure we can talk about that. But
I don't know if it's a hot take. I don't know what it is, but I think that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. So creativity requires. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to give that one a thumbs up, folks. Because that's
2 thumbs up.
That's
Caffeine and Cantrips.
Yeah. I think that's reiterating a little bit of what we talked about before in setting the scope, right? If you have no restrictions, you can do anything. Well, here comes analysis paralysis. Like, what do I do? Well, you can do anything. Yeah, but what do I do?
And you don't do anything.
And then you don't do anything because there's too much.
Well, and the minute you put something down to paper, you've restricted yourself.
It's true.
Right.
It's true.
And it's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
You need to.
I like that idea specifically for getting started, new, veteran, whatever.
New, veteran, whatever. That one's definitely a whatever.